It all started on a rainy Wednesday evening. I had just gotten off work, my mind clouded with exhaustion and loneliness. My apartment felt emptier than usual, and the silence was deafening. That's when I decided, almost impulsively, to try online dating. I wasn't expecting much. Honestly, I just wanted someone to talk to, someone to remind me that the world wasn't entirely lonely. That's when I saw him, Ethan Blake. His profile was striking sharp jawline, deep brown eyes that seemed to pierce straight through the screen, and a smile that made my heart stutter. He wasn't just handsome, he had a presence, even through pixels. His interests aligned perfectly with mine: books, travel, music, and a strange fondness for rainy evenings, the kind of coincidence that made me feel like fate had played a part. I hesitated at first. Online dating had always seemed a little fake. But something about Ethan's messages felt different. They weren't generic. He didn't just comment on my photos, he noticed details, things most people wouldn't. My favorite coffee shop, the little bookstore downtown, my obsession with jazz music, he mentioned them all in a way that made me feel seen, really seen, for the first time in years. Our conversations quickly moved from text to calls. Hearing his voice made my heart race. He laughed easily, listened intently, and shared stories about his life in New York, stories that sounded too perfect to be entirely real. I told myself it was okay to feel a connection. After all, love could bloom anywhere, even through a screen. Weeks turned into months, and I was falling for him, hard. Ethan talked about a future together, moving in, traveling the world, building a life I had only dared to dream about. I was cautious, of course, but my heart overruled my doubts. He seemed so genuine, so attentive. And then one night, he said something I wasn't expecting. "I want to meet you. I want to marry you. I can't wait any longer." It was sudden. I was shocked, but the thought of finally being with him in real life thrilled me. Within days, we planned a trip for me to fly to New York. It felt surreal. I was finally going to meet the man who had become my entire world. I arrived at JFK Airport, my heart pounding in my chest. I scanned the arrivals gate, looking for Ethan, but he wasn't there. I called him immediately. "Hey, I'm here," I said, trying to hide the quiver in my voice. There was a long pause on the other end. Then, finally, he spoke. "Oh, right. I'm running a bit late. Traffic is horrible. Just wait for me. I'll be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes turned into an hour, then 2. I felt a pit forming in my stomach. Something wasn't right. I tried to call again. No answer. My messages went unread. I looked around the crowded terminal, desperate to see his face, to find the man I had dreamed about for months. That night, I called my best friend Lisa, crying uncontrollably. "He's gone," I sobbed. "He just vanished." Lisa tried to comfort me, but I felt foolish. How could I have fallen so deeply for someone I had never met? Then, the strange emails started. At first, they seemed normal. "Sorry about today. Work was crazy. I can't wait to see you." But as days passed, the emails became odd. He would write about things that hadn't happened, or events in my life he couldn't possibly know about. And then the photos. Ethan had sent me photos of himself, of his apartment, even selfies. But something about them felt off. I couldn't put my finger on it at first. The lighting was too perfect, the angles too precise, almost like they were generated. I did what any modern person would do, I reverse image searched them. And my world shattered. Every single photo was fake. Stock photos, deepfake images, stolen from random people online. Ethan didn't exist. I remember sitting on my bed, my hands shaking, my phone slipping from my fingers. The man I had loved, the man I had imagined a life with, wasn't real. He was a fabrication, a digital ghost designed to ensnare me. For days, I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I kept replaying our conversations in my head, wondering which parts were real, which parts were lies. Every heartfelt message, every "I love you," every plan we made together, it was all a lie. I tried to contact him again, hoping against hope that maybe, somehow, I was wrong, but his accounts were gone, deleted, vanished into the digital ether. It wasn't just heartbreak, it was betrayal on a level I hadn't imagined. Someone had meticulously studied me, learned what I liked, how I thought, and used it to manipulate me. I filed a report with the authorities, but they told me it would be difficult to trace. Online dating scams were rampant, and those who orchestrated them were often ghosting their victims long before they were caught. But I refused to let it break me completely. I had lost Ethan, but I hadn't lost myself. I started attending therapy, joining support groups for online dating victims, and slowly I began to rebuild my trust in people. Not everyone online was fake, I realized. But I had to be careful. I had to protect my heart without closing it off completely. Months later, I met someone in person, James. He wasn't perfect, he wasn't glamorous, and he definitely didn't have a curated online persona, but he was kind, real, and present. We started slowly, cautiously, but it felt genuine. No lies, no facades, no digital illusions, just two people connecting in the real world. Looking back, Ethan was a cruel lesson. He taught me the dangers of trusting too quickly in the digital age, but he also showed me the strength I had within myself to survive deception and heartbreak. And now, whenever I hear about someone meeting someone online, I always give a warning. Not to scare them, but to remind them to protect their hearts, to stay vigilant, and to remember that not everyone is who they claim to be. The internet can be magical, it can connect souls across continents, but it can also be a dangerous place where illusions are crafted and hearts are played with. I learned this the hard way, but I survived. And now I can love again, carefully, wisely, and with my eyes wide open. If there's one thing I want everyone watching this story to remember, it's this: trust is precious, and your heart is even more so. Don't give it away too easily. Never forget that real love exists. It's just sometimes hidden behind layers of deception. Thank you for joining me in this journey. If you enjoyed this story and want more real, thrilling, and emotional tales like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss the stories we have coming up. They'll shock you, move you, and maybe even make you rethink everything you thought you knew about love in the digital age. Because sometimes, the most captivating stories are the ones that remind us how fragile and how powerful our hearts can be.